Hey, what's up, everybody? It is us. We are back.
It's
Motherfucker,
us.
we're back. The Super Metal Bros. Drop G, Sunny D. Excited to say that not only are we back, but Alex Kohler and friends are also back in this new chapter post Chelsea Grin called Ammeona or Ameona, which I think I looked up earlier is it was spelled differently, but it was like a type of yokai, like a Japanese demon called like the Water Lady Sounds motherfuckers or something, which is pretty dope, pretty metal.
Kind of like a siren type thing.
Yeah, yeah.
And so I'm not keen on Chelsea Grin's history. So this
Yeah.
band is
Ask
like
away.
all the band members of Chelsea Grin from like a certain time.
It has Jake, who was a guitarist since Desolation of Eden, which was their first LP. Has Alex Kohler on vocals, who's the original vocalist, and he was on up until Self Inflicted. You had Ashes to Ashes, Self Inflicted. He was no longer in Chelsea Grin after that, and then they brought in Tom Barber. Pablo,
Okay.
the drummer, started the band shortly after the Evolve EP. He played a pretty major role, him and Jason Richardson, in Ashes to Ashes, the album that
Okay.
came after Evolve. Yeah, it was really strange because, okay, so like after they brought out Eternal Nightmare, like a little bit before COVID hit, I believe, maybe even a year. It's hard for me to recall. But then we didn't hear anything from Chelsea Grin for like a few years, just like getting out of COVID. And then they dropped a couple singles. We think they're working on something. And then it just kind of goes silent again. And then all of a sudden we get that they're releasing a double LP. Prior to those releasing, though, Pablo had said that he was being a touring musician for like some country band or something like
Nice.
that. Yeah, as a drummer, and never made an official statement that he was ever leaving Chelsea Grin. And and I still think he hasn't. It wasn't until we saw this we're like, well, what's going on now? So there in Chelsea Grin, there's not a single original member in Chelsea Grin.
Yeah, it's so weird.
Isn't it kind of fucking wild, dude?
Yeah, it's kind of strange when bands end up like that. I mean, they're not the only band. When it's like all that's left is like some bands, it's like all that's left is the bassist. It's like that's not the band. I'm sorry.
No, that's
You mean
funny,
the guy
dude.
that would hit zero a bunch
That's
of times?
funny because the he was on since Desolation of Eden too, but it's the bassist
Yeah.
in Chelsea Grin. That's it. Yeah,
It's like, I get it. They're just keeping they've been there. They're keeping the like branding, if you will. But
yeah. I mean, it's stupid to flush them down the toilet because it's generating them money, regardless if they're even into the music or not. I mean, you can call that a sellout, whatever. I mean,
I don't consider that, but the Desolation of Eden Chelsea Grin is not the same band as the band we hear today. You know, they might as well have a different name. They're different artists.
I mean, strangely enough, people drag me for this, but I would say it's closer to Desolation of Eden than it's been in a long time, because when it diverged with Jason Richardson, that was an entirely different band.
Okay,
sound
that makes
wise,
sense.
in my opinion. I think this Chelsea is actually probably a little more
closer
faithful
to the original.
Yeah,
closer to the original sound. And see, I like the Jason Richardson version was probably when I was most into Chelsea. I like some of the stuff they've released. Like I'm very deathcore today, but they've always been a little too far deathcore for me.
At the time,
at the time, when Chelsea was real big. But that one album is when they started messing around with some stuff that that probably pissed off some of their true deathcore listeners.
Getting into this, it'll be exciting to see, because part of the reason that Alex had left is because he was having a lot of substance abuse issues, and touring just, if you're trying to be sober, dude, touring is probably the last thing you want to do.
Yeah, that's not a good idea. Yeah. There's nothing better to do.
So I'm excited to see he's completely sober to my knowledge. He's making a comeback. I'm excited to see what improvements he's made since leaving Chelsea Grin. So I'm ready to dive right in.
Yeah, let's do it. I'm going to pop in a Zimbabwe. All right, let's go.
Genty.
Yeah. Yeah, it is kind of genty. Kind of a hollow guitar tone. That's a pretty main guitar riff right there.
Crush it. Gotta be building the song.
You only got 15 seconds. Interesting. So I would say if that's their first release, that's a pretty strong first release.
Yeah,
These are seasoned guys, so.
Yeah, I do have a couple of critiques though, because obviously I want this band to succeed. And yeah, who the fuck am I, right? telling these seasoned artists what to do. No, listen to me, goddammit. I don't know if you caught it, but the production, this felt like almost kind of like demo quality, which for them I kind of expected it to be a little further along it through that process. Like it sounded kind of artifacty. It didn't have a whole lot of weight behind it.
I think the guitar, if I'm listening, I think the tone is what they wanted, but the guitar did not seem kind of glued to the rest of the mix. Like I felt like the guitar was in like a different room. Like the reverb didn't match, or I
like
don't.
The guitarist completely mastered like his own track.
Yeah,
and
it's almost
threw
like
it over the top.
Separately mastered things put together.
Yeah,
it seemed like because it just didn't feel like it was the same in the same area or space. I guess we could call it. I liked the tone. I liked the guitar riffs. It definitely had some very new deathcore like sounds to it. Like I heard like a few sounds that kind of reminded me of kind of the Thall stuff going on. It kind of had that kind of Darko-ish like sound to it too, with the guitar tone specifically. It's kind of a little bit kind of almost industrial sounding. It's kind of like hollow metal sound almost, I guess you could call it, like metal as in the element, like as like the material. I like what's going on, but I feel like it wasn't a deal breaker for me.
No, not
at all. First, it did feel like those two things were separate, the guitar from the rest of the mix.
Yeah.
But having that be said, that's my cons. Pros wise, I felt like the lyrics were actually pretty strong, and just hearing what you were talking about with, you know, addiction and problems like that, this, if you read the lyrics, like, it's kind of like it, I don't know if he meant it to be this way. It's kind of like he's just calling about, like, what do you see when you look at me? You know, just another addict, criminal, disease, you know,
Yeah.
like what everybody's thinking of him right now with all
Yeah.
of his past, which I think that's like, that's pretty dope, dude, to come out like with that strong of a, you know, uh, self awareness and kind
Just
of
putting
showing that he's
yourself out
growing.
there. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
because
yeah. I
dude,
like
I
that.
can only imagine, like, it's one thing to like hit fucking rock bottom just in general. Alex started Chelsea Grin, and to like be, I believe they, you know, removed him for the right reasons because he wasn't well. And he
Yeah,
was probably gonna continue, probably
maybe
end
for
up
his own
killing
good.
himself, you
Yeah,
know. But like, dude, imagine you start this thing, it gets, you know, for metal deathcore standards, gets pretty wildly successful because they were headlining, you know, and they had some pretty massive shows and a fan base. To start all that and then to have people remove you from your own creation, like to try to get sober, all these things, like you gotta be, that's gotta suck
yeah.
mentally. You know what I mean, dude? So like I'm glad Alex is back, dude. He sounded great. Again, I hope the production quality can come up a little bit. And one thing I'll give them is this doesn't sound like Chelsea. They're going for something different
No, no. I
here.
actually like
So
this better than what I've heard from Chelsea recently. I can
yeah,
say
yeah.
I genuinely enjoyed that more than Chelsea's most recent releases. So
All right. That was our Chelsea Ammeona Alex Kohler synopsis. Thank you
yeah.
guys for watching. We love you. Like, subscribe. We appreciate it. Later.